Hello learners, this is Mr. Kissinger and I'm back again to do another video. This video today is on our fraction to decimal to percent conversions that we've been doing in class. I hope this video is helpful in reteaching many of the things that we did in class. Parents, this next little note's for you. You're going to know some other tricks and other strategies to figure out how to figure these percentages out. And so I'm going to ask that if you know a shortcut that perhaps that we don't share it all the time and let the students use the methods we learned in class. It's going to help build their numeracy skills, and then a little bit later they're going to determine and figure out those shortcuts for themselves. So fraction decimal percent conversions are used a lot in anytime we buy items. I'm thinking when we go to the store, I'll see sales on items like 20% off of a shirt, or this is on clearance for 70% off, things like that. So we're going to use these percentages and decimals and quite a bit that way. Anytime you want to invest money, you're going to be dealing with a lot of decimal and percent conversions, and larger purchases such as like a house or a car, college. They definitely involve decimals and percents. You're going to see this at school in our science and social studies classes. Science will use a lot of percentages, and you're going to be using that in that class, a lot of fraction to decimal conversion there. And social studies is probably going to do a little bit more of the decimal percent conversions in some of those social sciences. Last, and this is probably the one that students are going to find the most use right now, is in school. They're going to figure out what grade they get if they got certain points on a test, and how many points out of the total, and they can determine if they had an A, B, C, D, or F from that. All right, let's jump in. So our first problem here is 1/4, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take our denominator, and he's going to go on the outside, and our numerator is going to go on the inside. What I tell students is that fractions are basically just a lot of division problems, and so a fraction is just a division problem, is all it is. So we're going to go 4 goes into 1 0 times. I'm going to raise that decimal straight up, and this is where being neat is really going to matter here. 4 goes into 10 2 times, because 2 times 4 is 8. I'm going to subtract. That's 2. Bring down my 0. 4 goes into 25 times, and it goes in exactly 20. At this point, I'm done. I'm done there, so life is good. Yay. Alright. Now, we could do another one and have it there. It doesn't matter. So our decimal is going to be 0.25 or 0.250. And going from here, this is our fraction, here's our decimal, and now to make it into a percent, we can either multiply it times 100, or what I've always done is just bounce it 2 to the right, move your decimal to the right, which is the same as multiplying times 100. So you're now at 25%. 1/4 is 0.25, which is 25%. Our next example is a little different. I'm trying to find examples that are both terminating and repeating decimals, and you're going to find out this is a repeating decimal. So we're going to go here to the I'm putting 3 zeros so I can go to the thousandths place, and you'll see why here in a second. 9 goes into 8 0 times. Decimal again goes straight up. 9 goes into 80 8 times, because 8 times 9 is 72. Let's subtract. Again 8. Hey, look at that. 9 goes into 80, again 8 times. And you're going to quickly see, hey, this is getting predictable. I see a pattern going on here. And sure enough, it's going to be 8, 8, 8, 8, and it's going to go on forever. So I'm going to write our decimal there. And again, that's going to be our repeating decimal. Now, that bar over the top means that 8 is just going to continue on and on and on and on. Now, when we move it, we're going to move this 2 to the right, our decimal to the right. We're going to have 88.8 repeating percent. So, now in this case, I'm looking at this number here, It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If it's 5 or above, I'm going to give it a shove up, and so I'm going to give this number a shove, and so that becomes 89%. If this was 4, 3, 2, or 1, I would just take that off. It would just be 88%. So 8/9 is the same as 0.8888 repeating. We could have also said 0.8 with a bar over the top, just like that, or 89%. Our next example, I'm trying to do different examples of things that are a little bit trickier, and so let's jump into this one. 7/5. Now this one's different because it's an improper fraction. Our numerator is bigger than our denominator. So again though, the denominator still goes on the outside. So 5 goes into 7 one time. And that's 5, subtract 2, decimal still goes straight up, bring down that 0. 5 goes into 24 times. And at this point I'm done. So my decimal is 1.4. 1.4. Now, to change it into a percent, I need to move it over 1. Uh-oh, I don't have another one. So I'm going to do that. We can always add zeros. Always add zeros. So 1.4 is the same as 140%. And some of you are thinking, wait, that's more than 100%. That's not possible. Well, in this case, you went over and above your goal. So, for example, if your parents told you were going to get $5 for your allowance a week, and instead they gave you 7, you got 140% of your, 140% of your allowance. So, nice, nice. You got 40% more than you were supposed to. So, score for you. All right, let's keep it going. So, we can also go backwards a little bit. So, if we have 23%, we can also go from percent to decimal to fraction. So, from percent to decimal, I'm just going to go, I have 23, here's my decimal. Well, I'm going to go this way, 1, 2. There it is. Now it's 0.23. My decimal is 0.23. I'm always going to move it to the left. To the left. That's it. And as a fraction, this is in the tenths, hundredths, so I have 23 hundredths. Now I'm thinking to myself, can I reduce that? Well, 23 is prime, and 100 is not a multiple of 23, so this here is the lowest fraction I can get. That's our decimal. That's our percent. What happens when we actually can reduce it? And so we're going to do one more example. So 80%. Again, I have 80. I'm going to the decimals here. Move it 1, 2 spots. Always 2. 1, 2. And so my decimal is 0.80, but the 0 at the end is actually not really needed. I'm going to say 0.8. So right here, 8 is in the tenth spot, tenths with the th at the end. So it's going to be 8 over 10. But you're thinking to yourself, hey, I can reduce that, and you're right. 8 over 10, they're both even. I'm going to divide both by 2 because they're both even, and my fraction is now 4 over 5. And that's as far as I can go. So 80% is the same as 0.8, which is 4/5. Some students look at this and they say 8%, which is a very common error. Make sure you always have that extra 0 there, and so you're always going to hundredths so you can look at the percentage. That's our video for fraction to decimal to percent conversion. I hope you found this useful, and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.